Today's peaceful pattern is cute. It's called Javik from Maria Matherson. She's a CZT and she's created this great fun flower vine that will look perfect in our doodles. And as we get closer to spring, I can't wait to show you these variations and see what you'll be doing with Javik in your drawings coming up. But first, hi everyone, it's K-Red, and welcome to my 2025 Peaceful Patterns Weekly Challenge. By creating a new tile each week, together we can learn something new, but most important, find some peace and calm in the chaos of this world. All right, let's get right started at Javik. And it is super fun, and it starts with a swirl. Down, just like that. And then from the swirl, we're going to make a total of 4 leaves. At least 4 is what has always felt comfortable for me, but add as many as feel comfortable to your flower. And we're going to start by making that same pattern that I almost always make on my leaves, but ending it with a C. So often, let me get a piece of scrap paper here. If you have seen any of my art or any of the doodles I've done, this type shape is always one of my favorites, where we just go up and then we go back down. And that's really all we're doing here. We're doing that kind of upside down S and then closing it with a C. Gives us a nice point and nice bottoms. Now from here, we want it to end right about there. So you can do it one or two ways. You could start with your C, but to me, my brain always wants to start with that lazy, silly S. And then the last one is pointing down. She almost always has that last one pointing down at a pretty good angle. And really is that simple, but look how cute that is. Now you can make the swirl going different directions, and we're going to do that down here on the bottom as we carry on. But let's do it one more time for our step outs. So the first thing is going to be that swirly base. That's going to be number 1. Then, let me give myself another swirly base. We're going to put our petals on it. All right, so then we're going to start with our lazy S. Turn the paper as you need to. You want it to be off onto the side and come down into that C. I didn't give myself great room up here, so we're going to have to kind of compromise that one just a little bit. And then about 3/4 of the way down, we're going to do it again. And then I'm going to turn my paper almost completely upside down for this last one, so that I can have it pointing down kind of conveniently. And that is how she showed to do it. So I went ahead and did all 4 leaves at one time. That's kind of how she showed it on her step out. And what she did, which I thought was really smart, is she just put the numbers in so you would know what the order is. So we're going to make our swirly line, and then we're going to make our 4 leaves. So much fun. I'll go ahead and I'll show shading when we do our long one on the bottom. So let's do that. I'm going to do this one kind of from the bottom up and a sideways. And I'm going to start right down here with my swirl down into a line. Then we're going to make our first. I usually go almost even with this. I don't know if she would agree. And then once again, right about that turn, I'm going to do my next one, which is going to be the S and followed by the C. One more time. And then this one, we're going to try to point down a little ways. And then back up. So then we're going to do another one, and we're going to put it right above it. Let's do our swirl. And see how the swirl goes right into the middle. And then let's start making our, we're going to go across the S to the C, S to the C. And then remember, this one's going to point down a little ways, just like that. And now we're here. Now I should do the next one right off of here because it's the middle, but I'm curving this way pretty good. I'm curving towards the left pretty good. So I think what I'd like to do is take the line and have it end in that. So then now when I do my swirl, I know I want my line to do like that, so it just gives me a little bit more of a wave. And then our 4 petals. How cute is this? You're sending somebody a birthday card and you put this along the border of the card, they will feel so special. Now I did these all going the same way. I know I told you I was going to alternate them and I forgot. That one should have been alternated, but we'll do this one. If you watch any of my videos, you know that I sometimes struggle with making these go the opposite way. But I'm going to give it my best shot. So we're going to go, and there I did it. And I think if I had made this one the opposite way, I probably wouldn't have had that issue there curving. We're going to go off the paper just a little bit. And there we go. All right, so let's think about some shading and how we want to do it. Now we could, if we went to a thin pen, I got an 01 in here, add these little lines. I always kind of like these lines in flowers. So you could do something like that. That would be great fun. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of graphite at the bottom base here. So I can come back in and bring that out. And we've done the one with it. We'll do this one without it. So we can see all the different options. We can add a little bit of pencil right where one would come behind the other. We'll do that again up here. Using a real soft pencil. This one is a 2B. Using a super soft pencil so it gives just a nice thin line. Now if you want, that's not a line I would normally smudge, but you can smudge it a little if you'd like. Most of the time I always like my lines smudged, but because we have this base here, I didn't want too much up there. We can bring this down along the flower. So on this one, let's do just this side so we can see what that looks like. And we'll bring that out. That way, as you're watching this, you can see different options, but that way also in the future when I'm looking at it and I'm trying to decide what I want for my project, I can make different decisions as well. And I think it needs just a little bit on that side so it doesn't look quite so different. And then on this one, let's go ahead and go back to doing it just at the base and pushing it out from the base. I went ahead and I just did a sharp line right up the middle to make it look almost like a stem. She had some cute variations that she did. So I wanted to show you a couple variations real quick just to give you a couple of ideas. So let's make one more right up here. Our swirl, followed by our leaves, and I'm making it super tiny just so that it'll fit on my little card here well. So now that we have that, and she went, and let's go ahead and we'll do one other. Probably should have started at the bottom and worked up. Now I feel like I've got to work on connecting these. Those aren't connected the best way, but you'll see basically the idea. And she went around and did an aura. Turned out super cute. So if you want, you could do an aura on it. The other variation she had, and I'll only need to do one to show this one. The S followed by the C, S followed by the C, S, like that. And she added these little dots all along the outside. And I just thought that was the cutest as well. Now on this one, I almost always, I'll do it on these as well, have, when I do those spirals to start with a solid in the middle of my spiral. It's just my own personal preference looking at them. But once again, this pattern is called Javik. It is by Rhea Matheson. Let me get the spelling of her name right. She is the CZT. It was found on tanglepatterns.com. We have our first sample, our step outs, variation 1, variation with the aura, and this super cute border with a couple of different shadings. And that is it for this week's Peaceful Patterns. I hope you really enjoyed this as much as I have. I definitely plan to put this in some of my spring botanicals. So let's go ahead and add it. As we get to being warming up and spring is here, I find myself just loving all of these flower type doodles. We've been seeing a lot of them lately with ease, with Javik. So much fun. Pokey leaves and pokey roots. We're definitely going to be doing some spring flowers up ahead. But for today, that's it. Please be safe. Please hit the like and subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Peaceful Patterns. Bye.